Caroline, and I'm one of the founders for TechNova. Hello and welcome to the University of Waterloo's first Global Women Plus in Tech Hackathon. We are so excited to welcome you. A little bit about the organization. TechNova is a not-for-profit organization aimed at creating more gender equity in tech. Our first event is Prepare, Connect, and Hack with Us. And our goal with this event is to create a safe, inclusive, and empowering community for women and underrepresented people to start, grow, and build their careers in technology. Our organizing team consists of 24 students who are all women plus and current U Waterloo students, curious, passionate, and driven towards our mission. Although this is a virtual event, our school, students, and support community all come from the University of Waterloo or relate to Waterloo region in Ontario, Canada. And for that reason, we'd like to take a moment to give acknowledgement. The land that our school is located on is the traditional home of the Haudenosaunee, Anishinaabe, and Neutral peoples. We recognize and appreciate their historical connection to the land our school is located on, and recognize the contributions the Indigenous peoples have made in shaping, strengthening the community that we are part of. We are grateful for the opportunity to reaffirm our collective commitment to making the promise and the challenge of truth and reconciliation in our community real. This is the land that we are on, and we encourage you to learn about the land that you are on. And for more information, please visit nativeland.ca. This is a first-time event, and we are very proud to share that we are welcoming over 500 hackers from around the world, coming from 250 different schools at all different levels, high school, uni, graduate, college, boot camps, and many, many more. Everyone comes from a different level of hackathon experience. We have some of y'all who are having this is the first hackathon you're ever attending, and others who have attended 5+. We are excited to share that there are 31 different countries being represented from around the world, and people come from 62 different programs, including computer science, arts, business, and health. I think everyone comes from a very unique, different story that led them to this path. But there's one thing for sure. We are all together heading towards the mission of creating more gender equity in tech. We can lean on each other to succeed. Our team of organizers, mentors, sponsors, volunteers, everyone who worked so hard this summer to make this event possible, we want and hope that everyone here is able to leave our hackathon having made a new friend, learned a new skill, and made new memories. In the rest of this presentation, you can expect to hear about the key logistical details, the hackathon, MLH support, Major League Hacking, hackathon submission rules, prizes and themes that you can look forward to when it comes to cool swag items, sponsor message, as well as the keynote, which is our fireside chat with Roanne. We are thrilled to welcome you once again to our inaugural event. You have prepared with us throughout workshops this week, connected with us through the career fair and community events. Now it's time to hack with us throughout the weekend. Let's take a look at what we can expect with our logistics team.
Hi, everyone. So we're going to be going over the main logistical details of the weekend. So please pay attention to this section as there will be some very important information for you all. Before we start, I want to give a huge thank you to every single organizer, sponsor, mentor, workshop host, resume critiquer, panel speaker, and volunteer that has brought TechNova's first event to life. Everyone has been working really hard throughout the entire summer, and we hope that you'll leave our hackathon with a new friend, a new skill, and many memories. Thank you to everyone that came out to prepare with us from Tuesday to Friday. We hope you had a great time and learned from the many events we had available. This weekend, we hope that you can put some of your newfound skills to use as you build your project. And so this is our hackathon schedule for this weekend, which you can also access via the link shown on the screen. All communication during the hackathon will take place on our Discord server. So be sure to join with the link seen on screen if you haven't already, and follow the verification instructions to gain access to the full server. We are also using GatherTown as the other platform for TechNova. GatherTown is an interactive platform that our team has worked hard to build to tailor to an experience that you would have at an in-person hackathon. So we're super excited to have everyone explore our Gather space, and we hope you enjoy the fun surprises that we've added to the space to make this weekend special. All instructions for onboarding both platforms are in the Notion onboarding document that we've sent out, and basic tutorials are found on our YouTube channel, which we strongly recommend checking out after Ceremonies if you haven't already. And we will be sending out announcements and instructions via our Discord servers. So if you have any inquiries during the hackathon, feel free to message anyone with an organizer role for support. You can also email us at hello@itstechnova.org, which we'll be checking regularly during the event. The best way to contact us, though, will be on Discord because the majority of organizers will be active there throughout the entire event. And now I'm going to pass it off to Isla, who will be talking a bit more about the hackathon rules and some of the community events that we have scheduled for this weekend.
Another exciting part of our event is the awesome community events we have for y'all to participate in while taking a break from hacking. Some of these events include Scavenger Hunt, TechNova Bingo, Yoga, Capture the Flag, Bob Ross Paint Night, Gather Game Nights, different meetups like LGBTQIA+, high school, Canadian meetups, and more. Some of these community events will have some super cool prizes associated with them, like Wix and Concept swag bags, which we'll show a bit later in the presentation. So make sure to check out the community event Discord channels for more information and announcements about that. No spoilers! As a brief overview of the event, our hackathon this weekend is 36 hours long. The hacking period begins at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, shortly after the team finding activities after opening ceremonies, and will end at 10 a.m. Eastern Time on Sunday. All submissions will be due on DevPost at 10 a.m. Sunday. During the hackathon period, the hours from 2 to 8 a.m. will have lower moderator support from organizers, as we are primarily based out of Eastern Time. So if you do have platform questions or any other access questions, please try to ask outside those periods to get a better response rate. That being said, we do have over 70 amazing mentors signed up this weekend, ready to help. Mentorship will be available on Discord throughout the full hackathon period. So if you need help with your hack, a mentor who is on duty will be able to help you on Discord. You can get their help by using the ticketing system on Discord via the Mentor Tickets channel. Further instructions and reminders will be sent via Discord announcements throughout our hackathon.
Welcome to TechNova 2021 on behalf of Platforms. We're so thankful and grateful to everyone who has taken the time to get on Discord and gather, try it out, and give us really valuable feedback. And it's been really fun meeting all of you these past few days. And I'm really excited as we move now to the official hacking period. Woohoo! Our vision for the event when we began planning was mostly inspired by attending virtual events and hackathons over the past 2 years during what I'm sure everyone would consider to be a pretty unique and unprecedented time. And a wonderful and unexpected benefit was that we got to meet people from all over the world. And that's something that I think is really cool about TechNova. I really don't know if we would have met otherwise if this event was held in person, for example. However, a caveat of virtual events is that there seems to be something missing, this sort of nerve-wracking but also exciting and rewarding experience of running into people randomly, striking up conversations, and connecting and engaging in a way that is unique and special when you meet someone face-to-face. And that's why we designed our GatherTown map to simulate what would traditionally be a physical hackathon space. We really wanted to test out for ourselves, is it possible to really draw from the best parts of both real life and online events? And this is only possible with your help. So our ask to all our participants during the official hacking period is to prepare for each day as if you are preparing to attend a real life event. Not in every sense. You can still wear PJ pants, for example. But we would really love if you would keep your microphone on and be open to talking to people you run into. I know some of us are a little shy, but don't worry, everybody that I've met thus far has been really, really kind and are probably just as shy as you on the inside. So you should be okay. As an organizing team, we've committed to showing our faces and always being open to chat and get to know you when we're present on GatherTown. And we completely understand if you're not comfortable with, turning on your camera, but we strongly really encourage and ask that you give it a try, as really the TechNova community and the environment can be built only as a result of a team effort, all of our efforts. So let's try to make the most of it together and look forward to meeting you. Okay, so I'm gonna do a quick walkthrough of the main areas on GatherTown that will be sort of most relevant for you as a hacker. All right, I'm heading towards the cafe, and this is a great place to sort of come for one-on-one coffee chats or to just hang out. And there's some lounge music in there that you can't quite hear right now. But yeah, you can come to also play games in the arcade game room. And we have a great assortment of games here that can all be accessible in each of the private tables by clicking on X, and you just gotta sit in one of the seats there. You can also sit on top of each other by pressing G. And finally, we have the lounge where you can come and meet some of our mentors and organizers who will be hanging out there. Come meet us. And now I'm heading towards the Hacker Workspace. And the idea of this is kind of like an open, common area for you and your team to come and claim sort of a space for yourselves and use it during the hacking period as sort of your breakout meeting room. You can use the whiteboards as well. A quick plug for the Discord. Please read the instructions. There are very crucial links to different packages, including the Gather onboarding package, which will give you a lot of information on the different features and how to get set up on the platform. Keep track of announcements, as this is our main line of communication to you for updates. Pick out your roles to gain access to special channels, and ask for help in the general help section and the mentor ticket system.
Finally, we are so happy to be partnering with Major League Hacking to bring you this year's hackathon. Here is an introduction video from MLH.
Hi there, I am Anu here from Major League Hacking, and hello, welcome to TechNova this weekend, and I'm super excited to be here this weekend. And a bit about me, I've been a coach at Major League Hacking. All right, Anu here, what is a coach? Well, a coach is someone who empowers hackers and just loves to be at hackathons, loves to build awesome things, and loves to mentor as well. I am from the great city of Baltimore, so if you're from around Maryland, DC area, from the States, be sure to say hello to me. But I am super excited to be out with my friends from Toronto this weekend at TechNova. Be sure to follow along at MLHacks or at Major League Hacking, because that is where I'll be posting all the updates throughout this weekend. Next up, everything you need to know for this weekend can be found at this particular link, hack.mlh.io. Super quick cheat sheet, be sure to check it out as well. Also, folks, be sure to connect with other hackers on Discord, on Gather, because that's what we'll be using this weekend. Be sure to come say hi to me again. I love to meet folks, so I'll see you around. All right, so what is Major League Hacking? Well, Major League Hacking is the official global hacker community, and it consists of 135,000 student hackers, just like each and every single one of you. All right, so that's pretty cool. And we have all these really cool, amazing things that happen in our community, which allow you to win points for your community. All you have to do is bring your amazing friends out to member events, local hack day, local host, and all these awesome things within, and you win this season-long competition for Major League Hacking. All right, folks, this is a really cool opportunity. The Major League Hacking Fellowship is a remote professional development program for aspiring software engineers. We are actually accepting applications for fall. I promise you, you will not want to miss out this opportunity. It is a global fellowship program, and I highly recommend it. I'm part of the fellowship program, and some way or form, I love it. So be sure to check it out. All right, so what are we doing this weekend? Well, great that you asked. Well, we have this really fun competition called the MS Bob Paint Ross, which is a mini event where you literally just get to paint really fun Bob Ross. I promise you, you won't want to miss this opportunity. We also have a really fun event called Slideshow Karaoke. So take a break, come out, say hi to me. We'll have a good time. We also have an awesome challenge called Draw an Octocat, Win an Octocat. All you have to do is draw your own version of Mona the Octocat in the most TechNova style way this weekend, and tweet it at GitHub Education with hashtag MLHacks, hashtag MyOctocat, and hashtag TechNova. I look forward to seeing those. And we also have the GitHub Student Developer Pack. Folks, this is a great tool. There are literally thousands of dollars worth of software available for you to utilize throughout this weekend in your hacks. Really great. Highly recommend it as well. We also have other resources you might need this weekend, starting with our friends from Twilio. So you can build a hack with any Twilio API, use your free $50 trial, no credit cards needed, so literally just anyone could use it. Go check it out. All right, we also have our friends from Coil, who basically have this larger growing community of content creators where you can monetize your hack for a chance to win a portable charger, a Coil pin, and a $60 of Coil credit. Claim your 6-month free subscription to Coil just right now and see all the cool things you can build for your hack. Next, are you interested in machine learning? Well, we have an Arduino tiny ML kit that you could win by using Gina AI in your hack this weekend. So if you're looking for any ML-based projects, Gina is a great place to start. Next, we have this awesome thing called Hackathon Starter Kits, which is basically like your little cheat sheet for getting started with hacking. Promise you, great place to get started if you're a brand new hacker. Shout out to all the new members in the community. Welcome. Next up, for all the prizes this weekend, here they are. Also, there will be a really well-updated version of it on DevPost, so be sure to check that out. More details to follow on that. All right, folks, for all of you who are demoing on Sunday, you're going to get this really cool I Demoed sticker that is customized to TechNova this weekend. Promise you, come present your projects on Sunday. Just upload it onto DevPost, make amazing videos, and I'm happy to help out throughout this weekend as well. If you want any tips and pointers, I would love to sit with you and talk to you about it. Next up, we have the MLH Career Lab. Folks, if you're looking for any full-time or internships, the Career Lab is a great place to start because this is exactly folks like Capital One are literally looking for you to hire right out of the hacker community. So be sure to check them out. All right, folks, on a more serious note, MLH hackathons are a safe space for everyone. And that means that we do not tolerate harassment or abuse of any manner. So if at any point you feel uncomfortable or if any nature, you reach out to me or any of the organizers, or if not, you can reach out to the incidents at mlh.io or just check out the code of conduct. I highly recommend everyone read it. This code of conduct applies to organizers, hackers, mentors, everyone at TechNova this weekend. So be sure to check it out. That is everything, folks, and we are super happy and excited for a wonderful time at TechNova this weekend.
Hey, it's me again. So for TechNova's Hack With Us, we're having exciting new prizes lined up. Let's talk about some of the hackathon submission rules. First, you can work in a team of 1, 2, 3, or 4 people to create a project that addresses a problem, which is called a hack. 2, you can only be on one team during the hackathon. So make sure to declare your team on the team submission form before Sunday at 4 and introduce your team on the slides. Information can be seen on the action items on hacker onboarding at the very bottom. 3, code for your project can only start at 10 p.m. tonight onwards and must end at 10 a.m. Sunday. Anything before and after will disqualify you. 4, your project or hack must be original. So you cannot submit your project from a different hackathon. Everything's got to be created during this event. But please do use library, frameworks, tutorials that you find online, and leverage your mentors. Now, let's talk about the most exciting part everyone's been waiting for, prizes.
We are so excited to share that this year we have 21 prizes in total, valued at over 19,000 Canadian dollars. So we have top 3 overall hacks, top 3 beginner hacks, 6 themed prizes, 6 sponsored prizes, and 3 MLH prizes. Remember that in order to be considered for the themed, sponsor, and MLH prizes, you must opt in when submitting your project on DevPost. Now let's move on to our overall prizes. First, we have Best Overall Hack. This recognizes a team that performs the best overall in both the hack and pitch categories. They've created a unique and innovative hack which encompasses the values presented by TechNova, aka the top performing team. For this team, Best Overall first place will receive $300 per hacker, Canadian. Best Overall second place will receive a prize valued at $200 per hacker, Canadian. Best Overall third place will receive a prize valued at $150 per hacker, Canadian. These 3 teams will also receive some exclusive Roots quarter zips. Now moving on to Best Beginner Hack. For best beginner hack, your team must have 75% of their members be first-time hackers. So if you have a team of 4 people, 3 out of 4 of those individuals must be first-time hackers. So our best hack prize recognizes the team that performs the best overall in both the hack and pitch categories that have 75% of their team members being beginners. They've created a unique and innovative hack which encompasses the values presented by TechNova. Best beginner hack, first place, is valued at $300 Canadian per hacker. Best beginner hack, second place, is valued at $200 Canadian per hacker. Best beginner hack, third place, is valued at $150 Canadian per hacker. All right, let's move on to our themed prizes. Remember that anyone is eligible for our themed prizes as long as they opt in on DevPost. First off, we're starting off with Best Female Empowerment and Gender Equity. This prize recognizes the team that creates an innovative and inclusive solution to tackle a specific goal with the focus on female empowerment and gender equity. This team will receive $125 Canadian per hacker. Up next, we have Best Hack to support marginalized communities. This prize recognizes a team that creates an inclusive and innovative solution to support marginalized communities throughout the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, this prize is valued at $125 Canadian per hacker. Up next, we have Best Hack for Mental Health. This prize recognizes a team that creates an innovative solution with a focus on mental well-being and health. This prize is valued at $125 Canadian per hacker. Up next, we have Best Design/User Experience. This prize recognizes the hackathon project, which creates an accessible interface with a visually appealing flow. This prize is valued at $75 Canadian per hacker. Up next, we have Best Video/Pitch. Now, this prize recognizes the team that submits the best pitch through the form of a 3-minute video. This prize is valued at $75 Canadian per hacker. And lastly, we have Hacker's Choice. This prize recognizes the team that receives the most amount of votes from their peers through the form of likes on DevPost. And this prize is valued at $75 Canadian per hacker. Note that prizes are subject to change and may differ for those outside of Canada and US. Nonetheless, we have some awesome swag and prizes for everyone, so stay tuned. Now we'll be moving on to our sponsored prizes. Remember that anyone can submit a project for these categories as long as they opt in on DevPost. First off, we have the Best Use of Expo prize. This prize recognizes the hackathon project that makes the best use of Expo's multi-platform tools. The prize includes a 3-month free EAS and a $100 Amazon gift card per person. Next, we have Best Hack for Accessibility by Concept. Now, this prize recognizes the hackathon project that enables accessibility the most innovatively. Now, these prizes include a $50 Etsy gift card, custom concept hoodie, and 2 per person. Moving forward, we have Best Hack for Environment and Health by Microsoft. This prize recognizes a team that creates the best hack for environment and health with a focus on sustainability and future. The prizes include Microsoft Surface earbuds valued at $200 per hacker. Next, we have Best Hack for Social Good by Cockroach Labs. This prize recognizes a team that creates the best social good hack. The prizes for this include a $100 Amazon gift card per person and an opportunity to be featured on our Twitch channel and a mentor conversation with Cockroach's Women at Cockroach Lab ERG members. We also have a Best Hack for Connectivity by Rogers. This prize recognizes the hackathon project that enables connectivity the best. Their prizes include Rogers swag pack, potentially a mug and a backpack, and a guaranteed interview for a campus role this October. And we have the Funniest Hack by Hudson River Trading. This criteria is make them laugh. The prizes include for first place, a $150 Amazon gift card per person plus link to VIP swag stores. Second and third place will receive the link to the VIP swag store. Up next, we have MLH prizes, starting off with best domain name for domain.com. For this prize, each winning team member will receive a PowerSquare QI wireless phone charger. We also have best use of Google Cloud. For this prize, each winning team member located in the US will receive a Google Cloud swag bag completed with a beanie, pillow, journal, socks, and lanyards. International winners will receive a Google branded backpack. And we have best machine learning hack using Jinna. The prize is that each winning team member will receive an Arduino Tiny machine learning kit. Now that's it for our prizes, and I hope everyone is so excited. For more information, check out judging on Discord or look at the hacker onboarding package to get a list of all of the prizes that we're offering. And remember to check out your DevPost submissions so you know how to submit before the deadline.
This event couldn't have been possible without our amazing sponsors and their continued support. We'd like to thank our gold sponsors, Amazon, Cockroach Labs, SPS Commerce, and Microsoft. Our silver sponsors, Facebook, Scotiabank, and PagerDuty. Our bronze sponsors, Hudson River Trading, Rogers, Zynga, and Desire to Learn, and our startup sponsors, Expo and Ratio City, as well as special thanks to Sticker Mule and our partners at the University of Waterloo's Women in Engineering and Concept U Waterloo. A big thank you to our partner, University of Waterloo's Women in Computer Science, as well as the staff of the Sheridan School of Computer Science and the Faculty of Mathematics, who have supported this event from its inception and helped turn it into a reality. As mentioned before, you'll have the chance to interact with our sponsors this weekend. Next, you'll hear some messages from our gold sponsors.
Hi, my name is Maura Silverberg, and I'm a manager on our customer success team.
And I'm Ann Nagel, and I'm a customer success manager at SPS Commerce. Within customer success, Maura and I act as liaisons between customers and technology, providing feedback and real-life examples to help enhance and shape the future of our products and solutions.
We built an environment of curiosity and growth by continually challenging status quo and asking ourselves, how can we improve the customer experience? Join us in guiding our expansion towards an inclusive and highly engaging future with SPS Commerce.
Hi, I'm Amrita, and I'm the developer advocate at Cockroach Labs. We are the makers of Cockroach DB, a distributed SQL database built for the cloud that lets you scale fast, survive anything, and thrive everywhere, just like a cockroach. To know more about Cockroach DB, chat with us on Discord. Happy hacking!
Hello, I'm Erin Chappell, Corporate Vice President of Azure Core Solutions, and I'm representing Microsoft to welcome you to TechNova's Hack With Us 2021. As an electrical engineering alumni, I remember my time at Waterloo fondly, and I'm thrilled to be a part of the University of Waterloo's first Women Plus in Tech Hackathon. This year, we're sponsoring the best hack focused on the environment and health, two critical areas for innovation given the current situation across the globe. The winning team members will receive a pair of Surface earbuds, which I personally have fallen in love with now that I'm working from home. Now, while you're here, I invite you to visit Microsoft so you can learn more about the career opportunities and expand your network. I really can't wait to see what you come up with. Happy hacking!
Hi all, my name is Caroline, and I'm one of the founders for TechNova. For our keynote, we will be having a candid fireside chat with an amazing supporter for women in tech and UWaterloo alumna. I'm really excited to introduce Roanne Sones. She is the Corporate VP of Azure Edge and Platforms, responsible for program management across Microsoft's OS and Edge products. Roanne is also a mother of 3 children, a wife, avid outdoors woman, and a systems design side graduate at the University of Waterloo. Welcome, Roanne. We are very excited to have you at TechNova, University of Waterloo's first Women in Tech hackathon. As you might know, our hackers are students starting off their careers in tech, studying STEM at school, and a good half are Waterloo students. So it's always nice to see an example of leaders in technology who we can see our shoes in and kind of hear the story for.
I love it. Listen, I'm thrilled to be here. I feel like Waterloo gave me such a platform for my future career and successes. And so it's amazing to be able to have a conversation with everybody and put myself back in your shoes. So it's been a good chance to remember.
It's always great to see support from role models like you and folks, especially that we can kind of like see ourselves in the shoes of. So kind of to start off, what got you interested in STEM? How did you get into technology?
Yeah, so I mean, there's sort of elements of things that are planned and elements of things that aren't. I will say I was always great at math, and so that was always my best mark in school. And then my dad was an engineer, my dad's dad was an engineer, and so I was like, gosh, well, it seemed to do fine for my dad, so why don't I give that a go? And so that was kind of what kicked me off. I had an older brother who went to the University of Waterloo. He did math, biz, and CS. And so that triggered a little bit this idea of being able to pay for school as you go through it. And Waterloo at the time was so unique with the co-op. And so Waterloo and then engineering kind of came together, and then the rest is history.
That actually answers the second question I had prepared. So it's like, why did you choose the program you chose? And it sounds like having a lot of like family influence was one of the reasons, but it also appeared like you personally had a lot of interest in problem solving, being creative, and kind of finding the different problems in your environment and kind of trying to address that with something you would learn.
Yeah, I mean, it's fascinating. At the time, Waterloo had so few actual engineering disciplines, I feel like, relative to what they do now. There were sort of 5 or 6. And I actually first applied to Waterloo for geological engineering. And everybody was like, well, no, you should try systems. Like, from everything you're talking about, you're interested in, you should try systems. And so anyway, so I switched my application process from geological engineering to systems design, and figured I could always start with systems. And if I didn't like it, then I could always move to geological engineering. And it would maybe be harder to move from geological engineering to systems. So, and I've always enjoyed being able to look at the breadth of things, and systems is, sometimes I joke, it's the artsy engineer, because you get to learn a heck of a lot about every subject in the world, and then it doesn't really all come together until the very end.
Yeah. Did you explore any other like things when you were thinking about majors? Maybe like something outside of STEM?
I definitely had I applied to Laurier also for business. So there was always this mixture of, I love to sort of understand and represent the product strategies and what we're doing and how things work. So there was always this blending between those two things. Even with my engineering degree, I did the management sciences option. Yeah. And so there was always this pull, I would say, to the business and how you actually make money off of the product decisions that you make.
Yeah, so it sounds like even though like your main core area was like STEM and like engineering, you were able to really like explore different options in undergrad and see like how it manifests in your own interests.
Yeah, no, I would say for sure. And like, this is where the intern program is unreal. Like, it's just the amount of flexibility, I think, exposure, choice. Like, you get this opportunity to just sample so many different things. I've done web design and sort of more graphical kind of oriented work. I've done back-end web platform development. My first internship was at Canadian Tire. I worked in like the distribution center and the warehouse. And so, this huge kind of spectrum of experiences. And so you start to get a good sense of what you want. And, one of the most interesting internships I had was actually, it was a company called Janus Systems, which was started by a Waterloo grad. And it was focused on customer relationship management software. And so my pitch, because I had a bunch of web experience, I was like, I'll come in and do a bunch of like web design work for you, but I ultimately want to get into try and do more kind of customer sales. By the end of it, I was like supporting technical sales. I was like showing up at, Royal Bank of Canada and giving them pitches on our technology and our capabilities. And so I had done this complete pivot. I mean, the demand relative to skill set that the company had was was really skewed. And so it was just this awesome opportunity to get such a exposure to what, the real world was like. And that was my first real snippet and slice, I would say, of what it means to be on the front end of customer engagement. And that once that sort of whet my appetite, I had a real sense of what I wanted to do.
Yeah, it sounds like in technology, it seems like there's a lot of different things you can try, like software, data, design, PM. There's a lot of different options. And it sounds like when you're a student or an intern, like your job is really to try those out and like learn. Yeah.
Hugely. Like, I mean, I just think that there's no other time in your life where that opportunity to just get exposure to such a wide breadth. It's the time, I feel like, to be widening your funnel and making sure that every potential input is coming in before you start narrowing and saying, hey, this is what I'm going to go do. Your internal happiness is, set by a lot of different factors. And as you get kind of older and you go into these different things, there's not the same kind of precision. In high school, it's like, okay,
Yeah.
I know I'm going to go to high school. My high school is mostly picked for me, and the classes I'm going to take are mostly picked for me. And then you get your first big choice, what university you're going to go to. And then all of a sudden it's like, where do you work? And it's like, nothing's picked for you. It's all you.
And I think also from my own experience starting off in school, like it was pretty daunting to choose. Like I just like had to commit to a program. And I think a lot of students kind of coming into university are also like, oh, I really had to make a choice and go with it. Yeah. And I think something that's really important, what I'm hearing as well, is just because you chose it doesn't mean that's something you're set on. You have the opportunity to really learn and try different things. Kind of like how your first internship, you kind of got a role that maybe you didn't intend to have, but you let it explore and grow and become something that it initially wasn't like sold to be. And on my end, I also had a very similar story. Like my first internship, it wasn't something I wanted to do. I was doing like automation or like more like QA stuff. But later on, because it was a startup, I ended up taking a lot more responsibility and transformed into more of a like project management, helping launch products to different countries. And so even if your first internship or your second or whatever opportunities you find isn't exactly where you want to be, you can make it, you can shape that opportunity to be something that you want it to be.
I could not agree more. I think the thing too is you never hurt yourself by asking. Like if I've got an idea or there's something more that I feel like I could do, or there's a way that I could contribute, if I put myself out there and I ask for that, I mean, the worst you're going to hear is like, no, not yet. But you just keep asking. Like you have to have a little bit of grit. I think you have to be willing to kind of use your voice to express what it is that you want, especially when you do get into a company and it now becomes not just about you as an individual, but it's like you as an individual in the system. Your ability to influence others becomes a really critical skill that you need to, very much invest in and prioritize. And so this idea of using your voice, this idea of asking for what you want, this idea of sharing your ideas, of showing initiative, of getting things started, of observing, like look at other people and look at what they're doing. And if you like what they're doing, go talk to them about it, and then see what elements of what they're doing that you like that could relate to what you're doing. It's all self-driven.
I think I agree with that, because seeing how much more freedom I have now in university compared to maybe high school, you do have to do a lot of like self-directed finding in a way. Like ask yourself, like, what do you want to do? Like, what is the thing that I want? And that's like one stage of it. And I feel like another stage is like, how do I get it? And so a lot of times what I find within my peers as well is like people not like voicing what they want, or maybe they've asked once and they got rejected and they never ask again. Like the idea is if you keep asking, it shows that you're persistent, it shows that you want to do something. And if you keep like taking initiative to drive and like show that you want this, at some point you will want it. You only need to have a successful once for it to happen. So like it's really important. I think what you're saying, like having the grit, having like persistence is really important when you want to achieve something.
Yeah.
And so you also hinted at the skills that you found really useful in the real world. Like, what do you think were some of the takeaways that you have from school that helped you succeed in the real world?
For me, I think there's an element of know what you're good at, seek out those opportunities that are complementary to the things that you're good at, but also seek out those other individuals who are complementary to you and their strengths, because then when you bring those two types of people together, you kind of really do have this like 1 + 1 = 3 impact. And so I've always been pretty intentional about the diversity of the people that I'm, and that's not a statement on necessarily like sex or color of the skin, as much as it's just approaches and different ways that people think. That's kind of clearly one. I think another is data. There's no right answer. Lots of the problems that you're going to get exposed to, if it was easy and people knew how to do it, it would have been done already. And so what is it that is unique about you that makes the way you want to solve this problem the right path? You have to bring data to the table. And in my case, like, that was always go figure out who your customer is, spend time with your customer. Like, when I interned at Microsoft, one of the first things I did was I spent like $5,000 and we did a focus group, and I had customers from all over different places coming in, and I was like steeped in understanding how they were using the product. This idea that you can get that firsthand data and that signal, and then you can correlate that with both quantitative inputs and qualitative inputs, and then say, hey, here's why I now think this is the right direction to go. It becomes a lot harder, I think, for people to question that.
So it sounds like at the beginning, one of the things that we're kind of addressing are the trends is like finding the right team, finding the right people, essentially knowing your strengths yourself and seeing what you can contribute and seeing what other people who have complementary skills can contribute. I think that's an important lesson for the hackers coming in this time around, because within your team, you can think about what are your strengths, what are someone else's strengths, and how can we work together to create the best outcome.
And this is a little bit like past the hacking phase and into your work phase, but your manager's super important to your career. That's another thing that I think in hindsight I learned as opposed to realizing when I started. And so when you're interviewing for a job, it is just as much about you interviewing whether this is going to be a fit for you and whether or not you think that manager is going to be the person who can support you and help grow you and give you those opportunities. I didn't really kind of understand that so much. Like, I was just so excited. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have a job and it's at Microsoft. This is the most amazing thing. But in hindsight, I really lucked out. I had a manager who was so incredible and was so supportive of investing in me and saying yes to my crazy ideas. And that really matters.
Yeah, and that's something interesting for us to take away, kind of just that beginning part. For hackers who are coming from the career fair and like going into the rest of the event, they'll be able to like learn more about the companies and ask as well, like, do I like them? Do they have a fit with what my values are? So a lot of times, I think as a student, we get caught up with like, oh, like big bling name, like this is amazing, like this is it. But really, like, you got to think about like what works best for you.
Yeah, couldn't agree more.
I also wanted to touch up on a different point that you mentioned. So you mentioned like having collaboration, finding the right environment. The second part is having data, right? And so from your like product perspective, it's like encouraging having backing for your hypothesis. I think on the flip side of that is also like just understanding your problem really well, kind of bringing it back to our hackers. They'll be thinking about like, oh, how can I like solve a problem, right? A lot of times at hackathons, I find like thinking about how's this new tool going to work? That's important, but equally important is what problem are you trying to solve with that? Because technology is used to empower, to enable you to do something. So you really need to think intentionally about what you're going to use that technology to do. And it sounds like based on your experience as well, you're just understanding the problem to have technical solutions to solve those problems.
Lots of times, and I mean, there's been lots of examples in Microsoft's history as well. Sometimes it's a technology in search of a problem as opposed to a problem in search of a technology. And it is really important. You always stay grounded in what actually is going to get better. What is the value that I'm going to provide? What have I made easier, like as a result of the things that I have done?
Yeah. So I think for our hackers this time around, really think about like, what is the problem you're trying to solve? And like, what can you learn on the way of trying to solve that? And that's where the tech comes in.
Yeah. And then what team, I mean, especially in this hybrid world, like you're going to have people from all kinds of schools internationally, it sounds like now as well. And so how can you even start to band together in the community? Because I do think like when you pattern match up different skill sets, so you have a designer or somebody who's focused on the UX, and you have somebody who's deep architecturally, you have somebody who's a data scientist. What could you as a unit hack and solve from a customer problem standpoint versus, what you could do if it was just, 3 people with the same skill sets working together?
Definitely. I guess kind of taking our conversation and pivoting a little bit over to like you thinking back at your career. What do you think were some of like the biggest factors contributing to your own success?
One is for sure just, your manager, the environment they create for you, the opportunities they create for you. I think 2 is the energy that you put into the system. And so this idea that, are you bringing your best self to these opportunities? What are you uniquely doing to help? So I think there is this team element of your manager and the support system you have, the network you have. Then there's an element of you yourself as an individual as part of the system, and really making sure that you are sort of putting yourself out there in terms of how things could evolve and go forward. And then the other piece I would just push on is, like life is still more important than a job. When I am like retired and 80 and I look back, the things that I will probably remember the most isn't necessarily the one specific project that I had. It's probably other things above and beyond my job. Your work will take as much time as you are willing to give it. And so I think it's important to think through, what are the other things that get you energized and excited and, wanting to wake up every day? And how do you make sure that you're always putting a little bit of your time and energy into those things? Because I think those things have an opportunity to transcend any one experience that you're going to have in a specific job.
Yeah. So it sounds like when you are like growing as a person, we want to also like invest in the things that you're personally interested in. Maybe it's not like a career direction, but it's like what builds you as a character, keeps you afloat, or things that you really enjoy doing. And it sounds like some of the important things, or things that have become really major later on in your life, is having had invested that time to prioritize yourself and the things that make you happy.
Yeah. And it just gets harder, honestly. Like, I have 3 young girls, and you navigate that, you navigate a job, you navigate a partner, and then you're also trying to navigate yourself. And then as time goes on, your demands become a little bit more different, but you still kind of want to have that center point of what is it above and beyond your job that makes you tick.
Yeah. And one of the other things that I've also heard from people, like advice for like young people or like students, is like, just feel free to explore, learn, like try new things. Because right now, like, we don't have that much responsibility, like a family or children. Like right now, we are the ones exploring out and like testing out the world, which is like our oyster. So it's kind of important for us to like go broad and try to figure out what it is we like.
Ironically, one of the things that contributed to some of my career progression and the speed with which it happened was, so my now husband decided, he got his PhD and he decided he wanted to go be a professor. And you can't typically be a professor in the same school you got your PhD from. He ended up accepting a job at the University of Utah. And I kind of went to my current team at Microsoft and I said, hey, my husband's got this new job. I'm going to move to Utah. I want to work remotely. They said no. I said, well, I still really want to be at Microsoft. And like, I don't think my husband's going to be there forever. And so I found another team that said yes to essentially me working remotely. And at the end of the day, it was like that change. It just like, it doubled my network. I drank from the fire hose on this whole other opportunity that was so much more, in hindsight, interesting and something that I was super energized by, but I didn't even know. And you get so comfortable with the team and the people, and you kind of have loyalty. And I do think this is also slightly more female trait than maybe male trait. Like, you get these comfort zones and of the community, and so you just don't even think that maybe I should go change. So it was ironic to me that one of my biggest career changes was driven by my husband becoming a professor and moving away from Seattle for a period of time. It's been such a rewarding experience for me. Like, I wouldn't be where I am today if that didn't happen. And it's crazy that that wasn't me making that decision. It was like an external factor that made that decision for me. So in hindsight, I'm like, shoot, what decisions should I now proactively be making?
Yeah, sometimes it's unpredictable though. But I think based on your story, it sounds like even if initially it seems like a door has closed, it doesn't necessarily mean it's like the end of your path. There's going to be other doors that open along the way. And I think that's exactly what happened with you, where in the new team that actually enabled you to go there and give you the flexibility, it turned out to be way better than maybe what it would have been. Yeah. So I think like hackers and our audience can really take away from this is, even if initially you're not able to reach a certain goal or do what you want, that doesn't mean it's the end of the road. There's a lot of other ways and other opportunities that are behind that you don't see yet.
Totally agree with that.
Kind of pivoting over to your role in like at Microsoft, and also like being a leader and manager in tech, what do you think are some of the unique traits that women and maybe underrepresented people bring to the table? Like, what should we embrace?
You have to bring energy. So I think there's this element of being willing to try, being willing to take a risk, and being willing to fail, but learn in the process of failing, so that when you try your second time, you're going to be that much closer to the mark of what you need to accomplish. There is for sure this element of, bringing that energy, bringing a little bit of that positive view of what is possible. I think there's another element of listening, especially this has been a bit of Microsoft's history, but and it's gotten significantly better, but sometimes the loudest voice in the room is the one that can kind of bully their way to the answer. The thing that I do really appreciate about a more diverse set of backgrounds, and it's just as much like an introverted person versus an extroverted person, is that listening engine, and really being able to like pause and sometimes not be the first person to speak, but actually step back. Calling out others, like this is something I have seen, women do an exceptional job of. When there's the silent person around the table and everybody's been talking and they say, actually, I haven't heard from, and you call out the name of the individual, who sometimes the smartest person in the room is actually, the person who hasn't had an opportunity to speak. The other trait I would say I appreciate is being willing to admit when you're wrong. I guess I distill it down to bring the energy, think positive, try to find solutions, not reasons for why it couldn't work, proving that you're human and you're not always right and you don't always have the best ideas. And so you've got to both surround yourself with people who are going to call you out on things. And you also want to make sure that, when you're wrong, you admit you're wrong.
That makes a lot of sense. I think there's a lot of great takeaways for our hackers and audience as well. And this kind of moves into my last question before we move into the Q&A section from our hackers is, what words of advice do you have for women and underrepresented folks just starting off their careers in tech?
So one, you made a great choice going into tech as an industry. It's just ballooning. The amount of opportunity there is so vast and so huge. Two, use your voice. You have to be willing to put yourself out there and try to surround yourself, I would say, with a network of people who can support you on that. Even if that's not your direct team, but it's finding other individuals that you can share some of the challenges and problems that you're having, finding that community and seeking out those individuals that can be that support group for you, because you won't always get it, especially a more male dominated field, quite honestly. That makes a huge, huge difference. And it gives you a bit more confidence to put yourself out there.
For sure. Having that community of support to help enable you regardless of where you are is really important.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things in hindsight I feel like I've also done is you look at those individuals who impress you, like write down the name of that human, actually spend the time to send them a note and say, hey, can we chat? You learn a lot, I think, from other people, and you have a constant flow of exposure on the job to that, and you can really use that to seek advice. You can use that to seek out other job opportunities.
Thanks so much for that. We're now going to transition into the Q&A section where hackers have submitted questions, and these are some of the top voted ones.
Okay.
And so the first question that we have is one of the biggest worries that students typically have. Do grades matter?
Oh gosh. This is so funny. So, listen, I think they matter at critical moments. I think, it mattered in order to get into the school of choice you wanted to get into and the program of choice you wanted to get into. I was not getting the top marks and everything. I think there's a lot more to what you do and your impact. But you have to have a minimum set, I think, that creates the opportunity. And so would I have gotten an interview, do a co-op program at Microsoft if my grades were in the bottom 25%? Probably not. And so I think there's this aspect of knowing what is good enough and making sure that you kind of pass that bar. But, my success at Microsoft has not been because I got 98% in calculus. Honestly, my soft skills are a lot more important and I think used than any specific technical skill that I had. Now that's the path that I've chosen. That it varies a little bit, I think, if you go down an architectural path, but even still, you're going to learn so much more about that on the job.
Yeah. And kind of taking that idea, maybe if we touch upon both your career path and also on the architectural side, do you think that it's better to become proficient, very good at something, or being more like a jack of all trades when it comes to landing jobs or moving up in the tech world?
Okay. Yeah. I mean, listen, they absolutely both work, and I have seen both be very successful. I have chosen a jack of all trades master of none. I feel like systems design is a little bit of the engineering degree that is that. And that was because that was my strength. That was what I was interested in. I've always known a lot at a more shallow depth, but that I've been able to connect and draw dots in a way that is unique and differentiated relative to somebody else. I've had peers, including even people who went to systems design, who've gone super deep in computer architecture and silicon design, and they're literally doing transistor layouts at Intel, So both can absolutely be successful.
Yeah, so it's just about what you think is your strengths and playing towards your strengths in a way.
I think, and what you enjoy.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully your strengths and what you enjoy.
Cross overlap.
Yes.
Awesome. And this is the last question that we have time for, and is how can we all better advocate for ourselves in a typically male-dominated field?
Yeah. So I mean, I've touched on a set of things here. I think there very much is like, know who is an influencer in the room, like know who you need to influence, who are those key stakeholders, find strategies and ways that you can be successful in influencing to get the sorts of decisions that you want to get made. Build a network of supporters that you've got who have your back. Like hopefully your manager is one of those individuals, but there's a lot of other individuals that I think, male or female, that can kind of have your back. You can rely on the community to help you. And, some of my best allies have actually been men. There's an element there of figuring out who those individuals are and then being willing to ask for help.
For sure. It sounds like being able to leverage your network and creating that community of support is really important for like women to advocate themselves in a male-dominated field. So kind of wrapping up, thank you so much for your time, Roanne. It was an inspiration to hear how you've been working to bridge the gap for women and leaders in tech. So many takeaways for our 500 hackers, students, and community. And we think this is something we can think about as we bridge our own gaps, whether that's in technology, gender equity, accessibility, environment, and more during this hackathon. So thank you.
I love it. And Caroline, just congratulations on getting TechNova started. It's amazing that this is your first inaugural broader hackathon moment. And I've had such amazing experiences at Waterloo, and I wish that this existed when I was there. And so the fact that you've shown the initiative along with the leaders that helped you start this is really something to be proud of. So I can't wait to see what everybody pulls off with the hackathon this year.
Thank you so much. I don't think it would have been possible without the team as well. I'm really looking forward to it.
Wonderful. Thank you, everybody. Enjoy your hacking.
What an amazing way to kick off our event. I hope you are excited for the next 36 hours. Right after our opening ceremonies, you'll have the chance to find your team and meet other hackers at the Speed team finding activity. As a reminder, hacking begins at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Pacific. The organizers will be available to answer any of the questions and support you at a help desk. Let's get ready to hack with us. Here is a slide of all the key information you might need. Take a screenshot or check it out.